Hey guys. Uh, at the time of this recording, I have 19 wonderful subscribers. You guys rock. I've mentioned before that I started this vlog to follow my progress. And never expected people to follow along in my journey. So, but I am beyond appreciative of each and every one of you. And for the future people who watch this, thank you. I have always joked around with people that I'm dying. We all are. Every breath we take is one less breath that we're gonna, have one breath closer to our end. Now, that's not saying I don't want to live or that anybody else doesn't want to live. I mean, it's just reality. It really is. We're all going to die eventually. I'm just very morbid. I really am. And last night kind of proved even more that that I have a weird sense of humor, which I'm okay with. About 8 o'clock last night, I thought I was having a severe panic attack. Well, it wasn't severe at that point. It was like a panic attack was coming on. I was feeling the symptoms. I have severe anxiety and panic attacks. I always have. My first panic attack was when I was 4 years old. And that was also my first pseudo seizure because of the panic attack. Anxiety attacks don't give me seizures, but panic attacks do. I don't know. That's just the way my body has worked. Anyway, when I was 4, my sister and I were in the back seat of the people who were, how's the best way and politely to say it? The people who were supposed to be taking care of us. They were not our parents. We were going to Cherry Valley, California, and we were promised to go to a water park afterwards. I don't even remember what happened, but let's call him I'm trying to think of a name that let's call him Jason. Okay? No, let's call him Melvin. So Melvin was driving, and I don't even remember. He was in a bad mood. He was always in a bad mood. He was a drill sergeant in Marine Corps, and when he left the Marine Corps, he became a civil servant. At that time, he was a GS-12, if I remember right. Pretty sure GS-12. And we had gone to California for Christmas to see our grandparents, Don and Irene Ross, and they were the most wonderful people in the whole world. They've both passed on now, but my grandpa was my hero. I even wrote an essay on him in school when we were told to write about our heroes. But anyway, and I don't remember what happened, but he said we were no longer going to the water park. And I began to cry, and I began to hyperventilate. And my face, my hands, and my legs went numb. I couldn't move. And that, of course, sent me into hysterics. I'm older now. And I've learned a lot of my triggers and such through the years, through therapy. And, yeah. So I thought I was having, well, at first I thought I was just having anxiety. And I had gone up to one of the workers and I was like, I'm really having some anxiety. Can I please go have a cigarette? My morning drink. Dr. Pepper, the drink of the gods. And, he told me I'd have to wait for smoke break time. So I did. When smoke break was called, I went out, had a cigarette, and came back in. Just one cigarette. And when I got in, blankets hadn't been passed out. So I'm trying to wait for the blankets. I'm tired. I took my medication. Oh, cracked my neck. And finally, blankets came out. And I'm pretty sure the whole thing started because the staff member that had the altercation with me, she was not a guard. I have found out since I've been back, she was not a guard. She is nothing more than a staff member who used to be where I am, a homeless person who worked a program, and by her working a program, she became what they call a tier 2, which gave her special privileges, and she can, work in specific areas. She was back out, and I'm fairly sure she was my trigger last night for anxiety. So she came and passed out blankets, and when she did, and I watched her do this, there were blankets on top. She pulled a blanket from the middle that wasn't the same color as the other blankets. It's a throw blanket. It was a throw blanket. It did not even, from my feet to my waist is all it covered. I know she did it on purpose, but I didn't say anything. I kept my mouth closed. And that's hard for me. But I did. And after everything was done, all the blankets were passed out, I asked another staff member, I'm like, this does not even cover me. Can I please get an actual blanket? She went and she got me a blanket, laid down, and my heart started palpitations. It started beating. I mean, I've heard it said that, you feel like your heart's beating out of your chest. That's kind of what it was. I could literally feel my heart beating so fast, so rapidly, and so hard that I felt like it was right up against my chest. And I'm holding my chest, and my throat's starting to close. And it does that when I have a panic attack in my throat. So I'm not sure if this is my heart having issues. I've had 3 TIAs. For those who don't know what those are, they are mini strokes. And they are a signal that you're leading up into one day having a full-fledged stroke. So my heart is just pounding and pounding and pounding. And then my throat's starting to close and I feel like I can't take in a breath. So I go up to staff and I'm like, I need an ambulance. And they pull me into the security room. They sit me down. They're on the phone with 911 asking me questions. I'm answering to the best of my ability. Another lady who is a very nice woman, she's got my hand. She's holding my hand. She's like, concentrate on me. Breathe slowly, you know. And she's another homeless lady here, and they call her Mama. And she's very sweet. She's very nice. She's very wise. She's taken quite a few of the younger residents under her wing to try to help them. Whereas I hang out with the older ladies because I can't handle all the drama. Yeah, younger people, I think they like live on drama. And I try not to. I really, really try not to deal with the drama. So, ambulance comes. They put me in the back on a gurney, and they stuck my hand because I was so dehydrated. None of my veins were like, we're not doing this today, okay? Go find somewhere else. And when the poor guy stuck that vein right there, it was a gusher. I'm watching blood spewing out. It got all over the seat he was sitting on. It got on his pants. It got on his shoes. It got on the floor. When I say this vein right here in my hand, where it's a little bruised, was a gusher, I am not joking. It was like, oh, you found the right thing. Yay for you. So he finally gets everything settled down, and it did hurt. It did hurt. But I had Bunny Bun Bun in my lap, and I'm just squeezing her poor little head. I don't think I've ever squeezed her head that tight. And I'm pretty sure if stuffed animals could talk, she would have been like, stop, stop. You know, I don't know what else to say there. And they get a breathing treatment on me. And I am so tired because my meds had kicked in by then. I am just like this. Head down to my chest, Bunny in my lap, hand stretched out, blood I mean, there was blood from, let's see how to do this, from there all the way up to my fingertips. And he's trying to clean it with alcohol, trying to get as much blood off as he could. And finally get to the hospital, and they get me right into a room. Immediately the nurse comes in, and he was a pretty good nurse, very efficient, you know, sweet demeanor, knew what he was doing, all that. So we get that done. He's like, okay, can I get you anything, you know, get you some water, blah, 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 blah. The doctor comes in, And she looks at everything. I mean, they've already got heart things on me, the whole 9 yards. They took off part of the breathing treatment, but left the oxygen up my nose. They're asking, so are you on oxygen, nebulizer? And I'm like, nebulizer. They're like, so do you have asthma or anything? I'm like, yes, I'm asthmatic with COPD. They're like, okay. They're asking when I had if this is normal, or if I'm out of medication, or, do I have a rescue inhaler? And I'm like, I normally have a rescue inhaler and a COPD inhaler. I don't have either right now. I have my nebulizer in storage, but I have no medication for it. And they're like, okay. They're like, do you have a baseline oxygen? And I'm like, I'm not even thinking at that point. I mean, I know what they mean now, but at that point, I was like, no. My baseline oxygen is 96% saturation. It does hit 94 sometimes, and the last time before last night, it had hit 92. And I was asked then at Stride Medical if I was on oxygen, because it was a saturation of 92%. And I told, no, I don't. So there was that. And another doctor comes in, the supervising doctor. And she's like, okay, we're going to do this, and this. And I'm like, okay. So she's like, okay, we're going to do an x-ray of your chest, see if you have any pneumonia or anything complicating in your chest. We're going to do an ultrasound of your left leg, because your left leg is really swollen. And we want to make sure you don't have any blood clots. We're going to give you another breathing treatment, and we're going to take labs. I'm like, okay, not a problem, right? So the nurse, she leaves, and the nurse comes in, and he's like, I'm going to have to get your pants off. And I'm like, without dinner first? Okay, if I don't use humor, I don't know. I'm just one of those people that cover everything up with humor. Always have been. I either fight or I laugh. And if I'm really mad, I laugh. But it's a different laugh. Yeah, I have no idea why I laugh. I will stand there right before a fight, and I will have my hands clenched, ready to beat somebody, and I'll just start laughing. I don't know why. I've only ever beat up one girl in my whole life. Yeah. She called my mom a bitch. I said, you don't know my mom. I don't even know my mom, because at that point in time I hadn't met my biological mom. And I proceeded to beat her. Yep. That was in 6th grade. A long time ago. I think I was 15. I think I was 15 at that point. Anyway, so I use humor. Give me a moment. There we go. Okay, so all of a sudden, when the nurse leaves, okay, the doctors, both the doctor, the supervising doctor, and the nurse have left at this point. Within 30 seconds, the room is like swamped. I got a guy on my right taking blood. I got a guy on my left getting things ready for the ultrasound. I've got a guy at the end of the bed bringing in a mobile x-ray machine. So the room is crowded at that point. But everyone gets everything done. Everything turns out good. And no blood clots, no pneumonia, potassium low, but I already knew my potassium was low. And my magnesium was a little low. So they give me IV magnesium. They make me drink this really nasty tasting potassium. The guy does mix it with apple juice, so that was good. They overdid the magnesium because, for those who know, you know what happens if you have too much magnesium in your body. So I'm dealing with that today. But after the second breathing treatment, which was a stronger breathing treatment, my oxygen was back at 96 and I was feeling tons better. Massive headache, not a migraine, thank goodness, but it was a very bad headache. But I think that was from the meds and being kept up and everything. And then they did another lab draw an hour after all that. And when that came back, they went ahead and discharged me. Now, by the time I got back to the shelter, it was 3:30 in the morning. Had a cigarette, checked in, went to my cot. Someone had stolen my blanket off my cot. I'm like, seriously, people? Seriously? So there was that. And but I did sleep for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. They, woke me up 6, well, technically wake up time is between 5 and 6. But I slept through all that, and so staff member did have to come and shake me and be like, Lily, it's time to get up. And I'm like, I was in the hospital all night. Yes, but it is time to get up. It is 6 o'clock in the morning. Can I please stay here and sleep? I'm afraid not. You're gonna have to get up. Yep. So I got up, got all my luggage and everything, and waited till 8 when they opened the day room, wheeled all my luggage in, set it at our table, and then came to get my morning drink. I do hope you enjoyed that. This is quite longer than my normal short little clips. And I probably will not put another update out until tomorrow. So, I mean, if you enjoy the longer videos versus the smaller videos, let me know in the comments. Yeah. And thank you for following my journey. See you next time. Keep moving forward.